Hi, what's your name, please?
Jasmine P.
All right, Ms. Payne. Calling case number 240-559-5801, People of the State of Michigan versus Jasmine Payne. Counsel.
Thanks again, Judge Stevenson for the people.
Jessica Shab on behalf of Ms. Payne, who is formal reading, understands her constitutional rights and stands mute.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived in interest of not guilty plea on your client's behalf. I'll hear arguments as to bond.
Judge, a little out of the ordinary for how it's being charged. We're going to be asking for $75,000 cash. We're also going to be asking for tether and house arrest. The defendant does have two pending matters in 3060. She was actually just arraigned on those, I believe, a couple of days ago. One having to do with an MDOP. One's an ongoing MDOP that's a felony. Another one is a misdemeanor. Now, ironically, Judge, in the misdemeanor case, there was a condition in that of no contact with the complainant or the address. That same complainant and address is the individual and the location of where this alleged incident took place, Judge. There were also failures to appear in both of those cases. She was arraigned on bench warrants, but I'm not going to hold that against the defendant right now, and I'll explain the reason why. So in addition to the two cases that she has ongoing over in 36D, one, she's on probation from Macomb for domestic violence. She ended up getting a conviction in February of 23. She got jail time as well as 24 months. And then, Judge, in May of 2023, she ended up spending additional time in jail because she got convicted of an OWI. And then in December of 2023, Judge, she just ended up getting convicted for a misdemeanor police officer, Ariel. Now, Judge, I think because she had to spend some time in jail on that, I think that may actually explain off some of the capiases over in the 36D, which is probably the reason why the cash bond was converted to a personal bond. But in addition to all of that, Judge, while either, and I couldn't nail this one down, while either she was in jail for the OWI or the DV in 2023, she somehow successfully assaulted a prison employee and she ended up pleading to that. And that plea came in December of 23, and that was actually deferred under HYPE. So we have the DV where she's on probation for, and then the subsequent convictions, and then the assault on a jail employee. We have the two ongoing cases in 36D. And oh yeah, let's get to the allegations in this case, where not only was there a no contact, there's a PPO against her by the complainant. And she takes her car, goes over to that residence, rams her car into the complainant's car, and then tries to run him over. And there are tracks on the sidewalk that actually show what the defendant attempted to do, corroborating the complainant's story. He fortunately wasn't hit. He was able to get out of the way before she struck him with her own vehicle, but hence why she's getting charged with the FA. I went a little bit further in terms of digging too. There are actually two other individuals on top of this complainant that have PPOs against this gal, Judge. So this is an escalation. First, we start with an MDOP, and then it's a higher MDOP. We have all of those convictions. Now, allegedly, the defendant is using her car trying to run over this individual. So respectfully, Judge, we're going to be asking for that cash bond that I previously asked for, as well as monitorization.
Thank you. Two questions before we get to defense counsel. One, I saw in the investigator's report that the complainant said he was going to seek a PPO. Do you have information that there was a PPO in place?
Yeah, Judge, I have a PPO. Actually, the three I ended up pulling off of the CC, the lean PPO database. And I have that there was a serving date of February 7th. I have an additional oh, wait, hold on for a second. No, I want to get all of these names right. For one individual, there was a PPO. and that was February 7th. Then this particular individual, the day of the incident, I believe it was 2/27, that's when he ended up filing it. That's what it has in the CCH.
After, so there would not have been a PPO in place when this occurred. Second question is, you stated she was currently on probation, and I'm asking about whether that probation involves this particular complainant, because I want to know if she was under an order to stay away from him. Does the prior DV, because he said they never dated, they were just friends, so does the prior DV involve him?
You know what, that was over in Macomb, so all I was able to do was go into the Register of Actions over there and look through the entirety of the Register of Actions to see what was going on. I didn't get the name of the complainant involved in that matter, but Judge, at the very least, we have a condition in one of the ongoing cases that said no contact whatsoever with the complainant or the address over at 36.
Okay, which case was that? I'm curious about that. What was the nature of the charge in that case?
That was an MDOP 1,000 to 20,000.
That's one of the malicious destruction. Okay, right. Thank you. That answers my questions. Thank you. Okay, defense. Argument for the defendant, please.
Yes, Your Honor, I was unmuting. I apologize. So, Your Honor, I do know that these parties, you know, obviously, I don't know what's going on between them, but I do know that they're not good for each other, because she says the complete opposite. She says he hit her car. And when I look at the report, you know, I don't see any witnesses, anything. I know the officers observed like the damage to the vehicle, but his front bumper is damaged, which would go with what she's saying, that he hit her car, but then he says, oh, she backed up on it. So I really don't know, Your Honor, what is going on between these parties. She says he hit her and with the car, tried to run her off the road. He says the opposite. So it sounds like he said, she said here. But I do know that it does not help my client that there is some history with these parties and these cases and these PPOs, you know, against her. But I believe that say no contact for these parties. My client understands that. She doesn't want any contact. She was, this incident was at his home. They are for some reason always together. When he alleges he doesn't want to, you know, be with her, she doesn't want to be with him, but then yet they are. She's a lifelong resident. Respectfully asking the court to consider a high personal bond, absolutely no contact. And if the court is not inclined to do that without a tether, then we understand. She's looking for a job, so she's not employed. So technically she doesn't have to leave her house for anything if the court is comfortable with a house arrest and personal bond.
Thank you. Fact remains that, you know, regardless of who said what, this defendant was under an order to stay away from this complainant. And we wouldn't be having this discussion if she had done that, if she had complied with a court order. And so her behavior tells me she either is not capable of or does not choose to comply with court orders that tell her to stay away from this defendant. And now I've got multiple PPOs causing me concern. And you apparently don't understand that when I'm speaking, you're not supposed to be talking.
I didn't have a PPO out for me to tell me to stay away from him.
That's clear to me that you didn't have a PPO at that time. That's why I asked the prosecutor's office about that specifically. What is clear to me is that you were under an order because of another pending case for malicious destruction of this complainant's property to stay away from him and his property. And despite that order, you were in proximity to him and his property. Whatever else happened, you broke the court's order to stay away from him and his property. And so apparently, the only way to keep this defendant away from this complainant is to keep her incarcerated. And so I'm going to honor the people's keep talking. Go ahead.
I would never go and see this man again. This is done. It felt like after this, when I seriously
Ms. Payne, I have to interrupt you, Ms. Payne. Everything you're saying right now kind of will be used against you. It's all part of the record. We said this during the interview. The court tried to tell you as well. Please don't interrupt the court. It's important that you listen to the orders, but I need to tell you to exercise your right to remain silent. We have prosecutors on and it's all part of the record. So anything you say right now is going to be harmful to you.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know, I would never go see this man again, cause I don't wanna go see this man again. But I never knew a PPO was out anyway, cause I went over there. If I knew something was domestic, I wouldn't keep on violating my rights because I don't wanna keep going to jail. I have been in jail for 3 years for this man. And y'all think I still wanna be here and still wanna go back and still get house arrest and still getting charged for this man?
Well, let's see, you've been in jail for 3 years, yet there you were with him 2 days ago. 3 years versus 2 days. So suddenly you've come to your senses. I don't know. Bond is set at $75,000 cash. GPS house arrest before she leaves the jail. If she makes the bond, there should be no contact. One more court order that you are to have no contact with him or attempted contact with him. We'll see if this one works.
It will.
Next court date is a bond review hearing next Monday. You better be quiet so you can hear when to show up for court. If you're able to get out, March 4th for the bond review on Monday. March 7th for probable cause conference, March 14th for preliminary examination, both of those in front of Judge Giles, the 4th in front of McConico. You're not to have any contact or attempted contact with the complainant, nor are you to go to his residence or place of abode. And you are not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond. And if you're able to make bond, there will be no driving. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Why do I gotta pay that high as bond and they acting like I can pay it? So I can't get out of here until
by now. I guess it's gonna take a lot more explaining. Please go on.
So I can't get out of here until that bond paid.
Correct.
Can somebody explain it?
Ms. Martin.
What?
What? $75,000 cash. Not sure. It's a $75,000 cash bond. Your name, ma'am?
Good evening, my name is Ariel Martin.
All right, Ms. Martin, you've got some traffic misdemeanors where you missed your court dates. When you missed your court dates, judge signed those cases, issued warrants and set bonds. I'm gonna set the warrants aside today and give you personal bonds on the tickets. You do have the right to remain silent. You are being recorded. Anything you say could be used against you in the future. You also have the right to have an attorney represent you on the tickets. If you can't afford one will be provided for you on or before your next court date. These are misdemeanors to which the maximum possible penalty is up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. Ticket P1263296 alleges October 20th of 2021 at Manor in Wadsworth, driving while license suspended. Ticket P1282961 alleges November 24th, 2021 at Linden and Hubble, driving while license suspended. Ticket number P1378301 alleges August 9th of 2022, Chandler Park, driving while license suspended. Ticket P1394056 alleges October 30th of 2022 at I-94 and 75, driving while license suspended and no insurance. Ticket number Z8086521 alleges November 24th of 2021 in the area of Linden and Hubble. This is an OWI. Then we've got ticket number 173530543 alleging May 10th, 2017 in the area of Buena Vista and Petoskey, unregistered or untitled vehicle. Again, personal bonds on all of these. Next court date in front of Judge Wagner, March 28th, 2024 for pretrial. Now calling case number 230-598-2501, People of the State of Michigan versus Ariel Martin, counsel.
Good afternoon, Lisa Coyle appearing on behalf of the people.
Trustee Sharma on behalf of Ms. Martin, who has formal reading understands her constitutional rights. It's just.
Thank you, counsel. Court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf, and I'll hear arguments as to bond.
The people have no objection to a $5,000 personal bond in this matter.
Thank you.
No objections, Your Honor.
Thank you. Bond will be set at $5,000 personal. Next court date is going to be March 8th for probable cause conference, March 15th for preliminary examination. You are not to purchase or possess any illegal substances. Can you hear me, Ms. Martin? I realize there's quite a bit of commotion behind you.
The girl yelling, I really can't. I ain't got my glasses on. I really can't.
All right, thank you. EDC, we're gonna need to do something about the noise level so Ms. Martin can hear her arraignment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Martin, can you hear me any better now?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Your bond is set at $5,000 personal, ma'am. You don't have to pay to get out of jail. Your next court date is going to be a probable cause conference March 8th. Preliminary examination is set for March 15th. Those are both in front of Judge Sabri. You're not to drive without a valid license during the course of your bond, and also you cannot purchase or possess any illegal substances. That includes prescription drugs for which you do not have a prescription. All right, thank you.
Another question, how would I remember my court dates? I get something in the mail.
They'll give you something there, ma'am. They'll give you some paperwork, okay?
Thank you.
All right.